C, the car show. And, yeah, well, we can put that one under old business. Okay, and then in old business, update employee policy, the employee policy manual and the trustee manual. And budget, B is in budget. And up in action items also, appoint planning commission member. And is there a DDA?
That's right.
Oh, the DDA member's already there, okay. So then will be our changes there.
And then Sam would like to move his report up because he's had a very long day. Sam, did you want to go before public comment or?
It's up to you, Sam.
Right after public comment,
That's
something you
fine.
want to address?
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to move Sam's up to, just in front of Scott. Just so we can get out of here. So I would accept the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Motion by
I'll
Clark,
second.
second by Bodley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Accept the motion to approve of the minutes of the December 12th, 2013 board meeting.
I have a question on one of the motions on here. The one to pay council members for representation in legal matters, wasn't that we approved to look into it when we revise our policies? Isn't that what?
Wasn't it?
Well, actually,
That's what I
the motion was actually to do it, but Mr. Cruzy brought up the point that it has to lay on the table for 30 days to actually be able to do it, which is why you don't see it on the agenda for this month, because we figure we'll just update the
Right.
policy manuals, put it in there, and then everything will wait for 30 days to get their updates.
Okay, yeah, so I think we agreed to it, but said it had to lay for 30 days. But now I think we're gonna talk about updating both manuals anyway, and just incorporating that into it. So do we wanna reword that because?
Well, that was the motion to approve it, and we did at the time, but it needed to sit for 30 days at least.
That's unclear. I thought we were going to discuss it in 30 days and make a decision on it then.
I think either way, it's kind of something that it was made a motion, but it can't be passed because it didn't sit for 30 days anyways. So it really doesn't matter, I don't think, does it?
The other way it's worded doesn't seem to be what we're saying, does it?
No, I don't.
Can we just change it to the motion was rescinded?
I'll make a motion to rescind that.
I think that would be best since we're gonna redo it in the policies anyway.
Okay.
Just so that clear up any confusion?
Okay, yeah.
So we will amend the minutes to show that motion was rescinded? Okay. Okay. Now to accept the motion to accept the minutes as rescinded.
So moved. Or
Motion by Badley, support by Clark. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes, thank you. Any public comment? Corey.
A couple of months ago, the Central Lake Downtown Development Authority applied to be part of the Michigan Main Street Program. The Michigan Main Street Program is a program to support and improve Michigan's downtowns and commercial neighborhood districts and employs a four-point approach to design, economic restructuring, promotion, and organization. 6 hours ago, there was a press release from the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. They announced their Main Street associate level communities. And there was 8 communities selected, and Central Lake was one of them.
Oh, very good. Great.
I just wanted to let everybody know that.
awesome.
That's good, thanks.
What was it, Corey, you said?
The Michigan Main Street Program.
Right, what is Central Lake designated as?
Well, but nothing yet. We're an associate level. We've been accepting an associate level program. there's 3 different levels to the program.
Designated one of
1 of 8.
8?
Yeah, I got a copy of the press release.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Any other public comment? Okay, then we'll go public comment. Sam, DPW?
Everybody should have a copy of my DPW operations. We had one frozen water line, that was Christmas morning, and it turned out to be inside the guy's crawl space, so it wasn't anything of ours. Lots of snow, and all the equipment's breaking because of all the snow. And as Ken said, the only reason he moved me ahead is because I just finished up repairing the 94 plow truck. Any questions on my report? There's one other thing I'd like to let all the council members know. After all this stuff that's been put in the paper about OSHA, my OSHA, I had a meeting. Don't quote me on the date, sometime in February with the gentleman from my OSHA, and then I'm going to the meeting. And I'll let you know more at that point.
Thank you, Sam.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Did you get a little present today? Did
No.
something show up at the doorstep here?
No.
Nothing?
Down at the
Nothing came in
DPW
today?
garage, something with the big ugly.
Oh,
logo.
we got
Red Bull on it?
It's been a long day. We got the other truck today.
Oh.
I forgot all about it. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Minor
I forgot all about
You're whipped.
it. Can I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Sam.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
So, do anybody have any questions on this report, or dealing with my
New plow
OSHA,
truck?
or? What's that?
New plow truck arrived?
No, the other two pickup,
Oh, okay.
the other half ton pickup.
Which is going to be converted to a water truck.
Yeah, new water truck, yes. Scott, police report?
Yes, thank you. You're gonna have 2 reports in front of you. One obviously is December's of 2013, the other one will be year end, and we'll go in that order. December, not as busy a month as the previous months, but it gave us a little more time to make some more traffic stops. So instead of about 17 traffic stops, we made about 50-some traffic stops. Not a lot of tickets, but just a lot more, which is nice because it gave us more time to be on patrol and do some other things that we haven't done in the last couple months just because of being overwhelmed with complaints and stuff like that. So you'll see the numbers reflected there, a little bit of training, and pretty much this whole month was spent wrapping up things for year-end reports and stuff like that. The other report you're gonna have is the year-end report. This year I did a little bit different, or kind of different than the previous year, but not different than other years. You're gonna see our 2013 stats on the left-hand side, and then in the middle section, you're gonna see how it compares to 2012. Which kind of is a good way to see, you know, what we're doing differently, whether we're handling different types of complaints. So they're all broke down. Overall, throughout the whole year, we handled 805 complaints. I don't think yours is highlighted, but mine happened to be highlighted, but it's kind of gray shaded in there. It was a 12% increase over 2012, and we did that with 50% less part-time help. So our part-time help in 2012 was 700 and almost 710 hours. Last year it was only 350, so we did 12% more complaints with 50% less part-time help. But, and it's pretty typical of everybody else, you know, doing more with less. So, but we definitely kept busy. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to explain, you know, kind of what some of the numbers mean and how those apply. I also broke down things at the end as far as kind of an overview of what we did for the year. And again, that's not everything, it's just kind of a general overview. Any questions?
Explain liquor inspection violations went from 0 to 60.
Well, the reason for that is every year we get paid to actually do liquor inspections, whether we do permits and stuff like that. Last year we started to actually do regular inspections, and before that we didn't really do them. We just kind of, if somebody came to us and said, okay, I need a special permit for like the VFW for this special event, I have to look at their permits, look at their stuff, sign off on them, and we sometimes get complaint numbers based on that. Last year, I went to a class on liquor control stuff, and they said, you know, you really need to do regular base inspections. And the reason why we do that is, you know, so we don't look like we're picking on a certain business. So we just, every month, all 5 of them get checked. So you get 5 times 12 gives you 60 pretty much of what that number is. And it's not that they're doing anything wrong, it's just we're doing things a little bit differently. I think every year we get about $1,000 or something like that from the state of Michigan. Roughly, I'm not sure what it is. And that covers all these inspections, all these permits, all of these things that, you know, we're supposed to do, so.
Well, none of them are complaining, so it must be going okay.
No, and it's kind of the reason why we do all of them, just because it's fair, so we're not getting on a bar or a establishment.
No, that's just the one that jumped out at me.
Yeah. And then that way, if there's ever a problem, you know, LCC comes in and says, okay, where have you spent our money that we've given you? We can say, hey, this is exactly where. And there's a form that gets filled out for each one of them every month. And it goes through and makes sure that the establishment's clean, there's no violations, there's no, you know, people being served, minors and stuff like that, so. And it gets tagged with a complaint and put in the file, so.
Thank you. Any questions for Scott?
I was gonna ask him about the marine complaints. I'm just kinda curious.
Well, sometimes
Rob's
we'll
a marine patrol officer too.
well, sometimes we'll get, you mean for us or for the sheriff's department?
That's essentially police department
Yes.
complaints.
We'll get like a lost boat or one that's
Oh,
up
okay.
on shore. I think a couple times I had to get, in Lyle's boat and he gave me a ride because we had a stranded motorist or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
And then it happened to be that, the sheriff's department's boat was again another lake, so it's easy for me just to go down. Lyle is very, I think since Lyle's been here 3 or 4 times, we've actually jumped on his boat and went out and helped somebody, so. Either towed him in, they ran out of gas or something like that, so.
Thanks.
No questions? Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Correspondence, I have some, but I'll save it because it relates to the car show which we're gonna be talking about, and the other one relates to mailboxes. So I have no correspondence. Committee reports, Rob?
We got our first bill for the new LED lights on the streetscape. With the new LED lights, we use 7% less energy than last year. So if we start looking at every month, if we have a 70% saving, it comes out that we should be saving $1,200 a year on utility costs alone, just on the streetscape lights. And that's not even including the campground, because the campground lights are put in after the streetscape lights. So no less than $1,200 a year will be saving by converting from traditional bulbs to the LED bulbs. That does not include maintenance either. We can't really include maintenance on that because if the LED bulbs are guaranteed for up to 40 years, whereas the other bulbs we're burning out every 4 to 5 years. So obviously they're not going to have to get into go up the pole and switch out the bulbs as much, and there's also a ballast in it that goes bad as well. So we've got 2 pieces of the equipment that are no longer going to be breaking down, the bulb and the ballast. And our new LED bulbs last, you know, almost 10 times longer. So hopefully we'll see even more savings as the duration of these bulbs, their lifespan goes on. And that's it.
Any questions for Rob? Thank you, Rob. Denise?
I don't have anything.
Any questions for Denise? Joe Warren? Thank you, Denise.
Mm-hmm.
Bill?
Well, Scott, yearly performance evaluations for the employees is completed, and I've reviewed them, and Joe's reviewed them in the finance committee. And we had meetings with their respective employees, or those will be conducted as their schedules will allow. And if other board members would like to see the evaluations, they can see Chief, and he'll make them available for you. The law enforcement budget has been reviewed and finalized with no areas of concern in that. The vehicles and the equipment are in good shape. And a great deal of time's been spent on the closing of the year-end paperwork and wrapping things up for the year 13 and get started in 14. And that's what I got. Anything else?
Thank you, Bill. Rob, communications?
Well, as we talked last meeting, been kind of exploring the idea of getting a couple webcams in the village. One to maybe put like on a Masonic Hall, one to, I haven't talked to Walt Bedell yet, gotta find out. Chris Corbett's exploring it through CTSI, see what kind of prices his son Scott can set up for us at his cost through, because he gets everything wholesale. Be all Wi-Fi, put one on Walt Liddell's so we can live stream. Anytime you wanna go on our website, you can look at Intermediate Lake, you can look at our campground, you can look at the lake, and I think it'd be kinda neat. And then, same thing with like on Masonic Call, you can look right down the street and see all the way there in town, whether snowing or what's going on, town's busy, and it'll all be Wi-Fi. And actually, Walt's, we could probably run right off the campground, there'd be just the cost of the camera, and it's just, and I talked to Corey, we've talked a little bit on, I'm still waiting on Chris, he was gonna try to get with me by Monday, but I haven't heard back from him, but we'll see how that goes. But other than that, that's about it. I think it'd be kinda interesting and neat for, I don't know of any other villages that have that, so.
Deadwood.
That'd be great.
Yeah, Deadwood.
Go to the Deadwood site and see what the.
Leave downtown before you go.
I mean, you could sit in your house if you can't get out, you could watch fireworks sitting in your home on live streaming video from Walt's buildings.
Times are changing.
Yeah, you got neat.
Turn the fireworks, turn the camera around fireworks.
It'll look stealth.
Oh, from Whitesville?
Right from
Oh,
White.
yeah. Up good.
Thanks, Rod.
Yep.
Joe, finance and personnel?
Busy working on our budget, which will be done, addressed again in old business. But I do believe the budget proposal that was in our package is not correct right now due to a couple of slight number changes. So we could, everybody that got, it would be the 2015 budget proposal, single line.
I think it's there because, not to interrupt, because fund balance is showing us when they didn't.
And they will on the next one also.
Not beginning.
On the next one, they will, not out with correct numbers.
Beginning motion.
Oh, yeah, the beginning one.
Just so everyone to see. like,
Okay,
that's
okay.
what that's what-
But they're not, the rest of the numbers won't be correct on there. Other than that, that's really what we've been working on is our budget, so that's all I've got.
Any questions for Joe? Other than budget, because we'll discuss that later. Lena, Parks, Public Property?
Not much going on right now. I understand we have, do you say 3,500 in reservations for next year, for this year? Not next year, this year,
Oh, good, isn't it?
which is good, yeah.
What was that number?
3,500.
Wow.
Yeah, already.
But then no one showed up for the deer season to use the park.
Nobody knew.
Short
Nobody
notice
knew
though,
about
too.
Well, we'll
Maybe
see.
next year.
Try it next
Yeah.
year. Other than that, I have nothing.
We advertise like that.
Any questions for Lena? My report, a lot of it will be done early. The only other thing, we had a DDA meeting last night. It went real well. Last night. The last DDA meeting, whatever it was.
Last week.
Last week, went real well, I thought. So they had a lot of good ideas, a lot of enthusiasm, so I think the DDA is off and running real good. So Corey's been real active in that, so it's gonna be a big plus. So we'll discuss a little more of that. Finances in our budget too, for the DDA. So I have nothing else. Any questions? We will move on to approval of bills. I would accept the motion to approve bills prepaid in the amount of $4,991.09. Payroll in the amount of $5,408.19. Payable in the amount of $8,945.44, for total approved bills of $19,344.72.
I make a motion to approve the bills presented.
Motion by Chapman,
Second
second by Bodley. Roll call, please.
Batterby,
Yes.
Bodley,
Yes.
Chapman,
it. Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Susan.
Yes. Thank you. New business. There's been a lot of talk for years about the blight ordinance, unsafe structure ordinance, and I think a few of us have talked, and what I'd like to see happen, I'd like to see us pick a date outside of this night, outside of the council meeting, so everybody's real clear on what it is, and hold a public hearing to hear their issues on blight and unsafe structures, and then move forward. And just get the word out real good and let people know that if they wanna talk about, that's the time to come, and we can finally move on with it.
So hold a public comment day,
Public comment.
and they can come in, and we can gauge how the public wants to pursue this, if at all.
If at all, yeah, or if there's a need for a
Alright.
second meeting or whatever, but we have to really get the word out, the first meeting is the place to come and speak up, not
All right,
2 months after we've addressed it.
so we're not making a blight ordinance, I make that very clear.
Right.
We're just gauging the public as to what they want. I want to make sure there's no misinformation.
So if we would like to pick a date, I mean, I'd like to move forward, I'd like to pick a date, get it out there, and word it, as Rob said, that we just want the public to come, let us know what they see as blight issues in the village and how they'd like to see it improved on.
I'm open for pretty much any reason. I don't have a.
Tuesdays are a bad day for me, I'm saying that.
Mondays are bad.
Mondays are bad.
So
When's your
Wednesday,
Thursday?
Third Wednesdays are
The
bad.
second Wednesday's bad, the second Thursday's this meeting, what's Wednesday, planning commission, first Wednesday?
DDA's
DDA's first Wednesday. So I mean, whatever it's got, Thursdays are good, just not the second Thursday's bad for me.
So we can't do it second Thursday.
What's that?
We can't do it.
Yeah, and I
second
just
Thursday.
assume we're completely separate of a
Yeah.
council,
Oh, yeah.
so nobody's confused, I want it real clear that it's.
So we're talking some date in February on a Thursday.
Fine by me.
All right,
First Thursday?
that would be the 6th.
I won't be here.
Okay.
Scratch the sixth.
Scratch the second.
Nobody's getting excused, you don't understand.
Hey.
No, okay, 6th is out.
13th obviously is out because that's the board meeting. So now we're on to the 20th, Thursday, the 20th of February.
It's good to me.
Unless we make, well,
What,
a Tuesday's not out for me, put it that way, if a Tuesday works, I'll be here on a Tuesday.
what if we do it like the first Tuesday, I was gonna say, you can do it at, say, 6 instead of 7.
I'll be here on Tuesday, that's not.
First Tuesday's the fourth.
That whole week, I won't be back home. I'm going on a cruise, and I won't be back until the 12th of February.
Wheels cruising.
I'm cruising, my first fun.
Yeah, we'll Skype it to you.
Then that brings us to the week of the 17th of February, Monday, February 17th, the 18th.
Or the 20th.
Out of curiosity, what if we looked at the end of January here? It's only like 2-week notice, but.
Yeah, I'd like to give people,
I-
I'd really like more
The weather
time. I'd
is
like
bad,
3 or 4
too.
weeks so
Okay.
people can really
This
talk
is-
about it. Linda will put a nice little thing in.
Monday I got fire meetings.
Oh, the 19th or the 20th, that's a Wednesday or Thursday at the end of the month, that gives us
18th.
5 weeks, 6 weeks.
18th is Tuesday.
Is one of those your township?
Wednesday is township, but that's the 19th.
Until the 19th is not.
How about Thursday, the 20th then?
Thursday the 20th?
All right, Thursday. the
There's
20th.
nothing else that I know of that's booked that night.
Thursday the 20th.
Of February,
Unless you
right?
like your
February
cruise a lot,
20th.
don't come back. We'll send you a card.
Dream on.
Right, do you need to check to see if they're?
Yeah, but if it's not, I'll get a hold of all of them. So I'll check, and if it is, we'll go February 20th.
Do we know what time?
What do people think people like the most? I want it to be convenient.
I would think 7 o'clock.
It don't matter to me, I just mentioned.
I like 6, but I figured
Time
since
constraint.
board meetings are held at 7, if we can
Okay.
keep everything at
All
7.
right, February 20th at 7 PM. All right.
Okay.
And we'll just talk about it. Everybody in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
May I suggest
Yes.
some sort of an advertisement or in, I don't know what the deadlines are for Central Lake News, but in addition, something small maybe in the interim review, because I wish I could tell you that just everybody reads the village council articles. They don't.
Rod, you're in charge.
They did for a while.
Well, yeah, they do, there's something happening.
No, that's a good idea.
I mean, everybody read last month's article, I guarantee you they did. But, you know, if it's a
No,
dull
I
meeting.
think, like I said, we get the word out as much as we can get it out. I don't want anybody to think we're not.
I think a little
Yeah,
notice.
this discussion is for an anti-blight ordinance we're talking
We
about?
have
or
a
just
blight ordinance now, but it's
blight or anti-blight? I'm sorry. It
to
just,
deal with blight,
okay.
to remove blight, and it's been on the books for a long time. It just needs looked at and make sure it's enforceable, and what the people in the village want.
So, Rod, you're gonna write a little article, is that what we're saying? Okay.
If you write up something, Rob, we can get it on there, we get it on Facebook, the website, paper. Okay. See, wherever we wanna get it. We put some notices around town, that's plenty easy to do, Rachel would love to do it.
I feel like how we like volunteers to everybody.
It's called delegating. No, okay, we'll move on. The second item was, there's a mailbox that was hit in town by snow. And it's become an issue as to whether it's the village's responsibility or not. I talked to the county, here's a notice that I'll read that we posted onto, I believe on Facebook, didn't go on the website, I don't think, right, went on Facebook. Here's what the notice that was posted after talking to the county. With winter fast upon us, we would like to remind everyone of our policy concerning mailboxes and the plowing of our streets. While we apologize for any damage that may be caused to your box in our attempts to keep your streets clean and safe, the following policy is adhered to. If your box is not within the village right-of-way and is hit and damaged by our equipment, it will be replaced by the DPW crew with a mailbox chosen by the village. All boxes will be replaced with the same box chosen and not the box of your choice. If your post is damaged, it will be replaced by a 4x4 with the box mounted on top of it. No extensions. Keep in mind that any damage caused by the snow thrown into your box is not covered. While we apologize if this happens, we must be able to keep our streets clean. The following is from the United States Postal Service. Postal regulations require that families with curbside mailboxes ensure that the snow and other obstructions be kept clear of their mail receptacle. Snowplow drivers are not responsible for plowing snow away from your box, nor can they avoid leaving snow in front of your mailbox. Clearing a 2-foot area around your mailbox will provide a place for the snow the snowplows throw to go rather than leaving a large pile in front of your mailbox. Prompt removal of snow piles is easier than trying to remove snow that has become hard packed. The deflector may be made of plywood or other material placed to the right of your box, but below upright flag can limit damage from the snow thrown by the plow. Concerning the placement of your mailbox, whenever possible, boxes must be located so that the carrier's vehicle is off pavement when serving them. We appreciate your cooperation in this matter and look forward to a great winter. So my question is everybody okay with that policy? Because this mailbox was truly hit by snow snow coming off the plow. You can see the plow line where the plow went down in the mailbox here.
The Postal Service, I believe, has a statement that says, if the snow is by a snowplow and it does not hit it, we're not responsible.
If the snow hits it.
Yeah, the snow, there can be avoided snow hitting.
Yeah, that's what this is saying.
Yeah.
If it's damaged by the snow.
Mm-hmm, they can't charge us for it.
So that's the same policy the county has, and they just adhere to it. So if we're good with it, I'll just have Sam just let this individual know that is the village policy, and
Which is in line with the county
we
policy.
adhere to it, yeah. I mean, I know it's.
You need a motion for that?
But let's do a roll call. Just get a little clear on it.
You want a motion to do it? Can I make a
To accept this policy.
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the mailbox policy.
Motion by
I
Bob,
support.
support by Pierre. All, do a roll call, please.
Battery,
Yes.
Bobbit,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Yes.
Thayer, Tyler.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. We didn't do it as a policy or resolution, it's just kind of a statement, that's what the county told me. Issue a statement.
Was the issue with that basketball hoop from last month that got damaged
It's
by?
been all addressed and.
I can address it, yes.
Thank you.
The next
There's
is
a way with words.
the car show. Here's a letter we received. The Central Lake Chamber is gearing up for our 3rd annual car, motorcycle, and truck cruise, along with annual walk run for Great Lakes Diabetes Charity on June 14, 2014. The event committee has brought up some suggestions. Since this is an all-day event, we have listened to our businesses, car registration, guests, vendors, and spectators regarding again this year to the west side of Main Street from the Chamber Cabin to Mortensen's, along with the west side streets for our show. The main attraction event will be the registration at the Chamber Cabin on North Main Street starting at 7 a.m. Closing out, the diabetes runners will have their finish space. The car cruise, all awards, announcements will be held at Chamber Cabin Blue Pelican. And in speaking with Chris Corbett, we'll be able to use his property at the Blue Pelican. This will allow our local businesses not to be shut out for their businesses, allowing traffic to continue on Main Street at a reduced speed, stop and park on all east side streets to do their shopping, viewing the show, and keeping people in town instead of going around a detour. Also taking into consideration is the Northern Michigan bikers that ride from Boyne City. Stopping at Thurston Park gives them their usual route to Thurston Park. We appreciate your support. If anyone has any question, please contact me at 350-1509, Susan McGuire, President. After talking to Scott, the concern at the village is should a car show exist with cars parked down Main Street and Main Street open to traffic.
So last year, I was there, and they were parallel parked along the road, not angled in, correct?
Yes.
All right. Scott?
I just think anytime you have moving vehicles and people walking, Ken and I gave some scenarios back and forth, but if I'm truly driving my car through town, am I paying attention to the road and people walking around?
Oh, because it's a car show.
You know, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
looking over my shoulder, hey, look at that car. I mean, it's always a concern.
Can you get a permit to do that, or do you?
Well, we need a permit to shut down the roadway like we
I
don't.
know, I mean, can you get a permit to have the car show on the road and not close it?
I don't think we need a permit if we're not closing the road.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I don't know
It's
whether
just
the
like
permit there would be,
parking.
they're just, we don't have event permits in the village.
I mean, it's one of those things you're not gonna make everybody happy all the time, but I don't know how, I mean, we're grateful that we didn't get anybody hurt yet last year, but, I mean, I was walking downtown riding my bike and it's narrow once you get cars and stuff in there, so.
Would a permit help with scheduling conflicts, say with the state and all, because I know last
Well,
year
that's the
they
whole
come through to do painting.
That's the whole
and
purpose
car
of
show was
the,
there.
and if we don't shut down the roadway, and Ken and I were talking about this, you know, let's say it goes the same way it did last year, you know, everything on the west side, traffic coming through, if they wanna come move a house through town, are we gonna move cars?
Somebody applied for
That's
wide
part of
open.
the reason.
You know,
That's what somebody applied for. Last year they came through and painted lines.
Painting the lines.
They tried to.
Yeah.
yeah.
My personal opinion is shut it down, but that's
I
just
agree
my
to that
opinion.
one.
You know,
I think more
and Ken and I
pedestrian.
talked about, you know, in years past when I first came here, we shut everything down from
Mhm.
basically the chamber building almost all the way down to Ballard Street. I mean, it was a huge, you know, do we need to do it that far?
No.
Probably not. I mean, if
If
you
you
went
went
from
to have 110 cars or something last
We
year,
were talking probably down,
to
probably
Morton's,
two markets. It's just what they were talking about, but
and we can easily route traffic around, to me, and I'm not talking from the business perspective, I'm just talking from the law enforcement perspective. You know, when you got people walking downtown, even if they're coming through town at 25 miles per hour, are they truly watching what they're doing? And there's a lot of people out there just walking back, and maybe even the pedestrians aren't watching what they're doing, but
They might think the road's closed.
it's a disaster
Right.
for,
we do have easy detours both to the east and the west. We're truly only going one block off, so all those side streets are still accessible for parking, to park and walk to the downtown area.
Rick, if I can ask you, you're being part of the DDA, you have the businesses, people in their ears. Have you guys talked about this with the DDA at all? Was there any consensus there, what they think, that should the streets be shut down, left open? As a business owner, what do you think?
Well, just today is when I learned of it, and I sent out an email and I got a whole lot of response yet from everybody. I personally, as a business owner, when we started our business, we were looking forward to the car show. It was the first year they didn't have one. You know, I want 4,000 people to walk by my shop. I want half of them to go over to, all of them to go over to Fudgies and then walk back.
Why? Michelle said there, you said Bachman's, you know.
They sit there and wander around with their ice cream and stuff, so they, you know, they go into Bachman's and they go, you know, there's a lot of foot traffic. And I understand it might be inconvenient for some of the businesses. You know, there's some concern with some of the auto places, you know, on the corners. I know they're probably not doing a whole lot of business. They're shut down on that day pretty much. They can't get cars to and from. So, I mean, I can see where that could be a problem. I can see where maybe people trying to go grocery shopping might have an issue getting in there. But at the same time, it's one day, it's a Saturday, and people are gonna see our town. And there's no better way to promote us than to shut it down and just have these people walk around. You're never gonna get 4,000 people to drive through in the same amount of time. You can have them all walk through.
Scott, what's the timeframe? What's the timeframe on putting a permit in to get this, they wanna do it?
it needs to be on at least 3-4 months ahead of time.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
so we really
And we're
don't have
kind
a
of-
lot of time to,
We don't have a lot of time.
okay, that's.
Because at some point, you gotta be able to decide what area we're gonna shut down. You're gonna have to draw maps up, you're gonna have to put the request in, it's gotta be sent. and, you know.
Oh, sorry.
Last year, we noticed that there are hundreds, if there's not 1,000 people in the downtown area, and they don't cross at the crosswalks, they cross at the street. And there was a lot of kids that were just coming across the street. The other thing that we noticed is that when you have a car show, people are walking all the way around the cars. So they're walking on the street side of those cars. And we thought it was pretty risky last year.
I think in years past when we angle parked them, you can actually get more in the downtown area. Because if you're only parking on the west side, bumper to bumper to bumper in those few areas, I mean, I think it drags things out further than what it really needs to be.
Twice as much.
And I hate to say where the parameters are because I don't want to leave a business out or anything, but if you can keep it within 3-4 blocks, and maybe a block each direction, east and west.
Doug?
I believe you'll find that if the village does not shut the street down, they are willing to accept the liability for any incident or accident that may occur by children crossing in the middle of the street or just gawkers and that. And by getting a simple permit, do you want to take that responsibility or just leave the street open?
Well, heaven forbid somebody get hurt, and what would that do to our car show?
Are the permits expensive?
No, they're zero cost.
So could we put one in ahead of time for them, or is the village?
I think
Well, I think where we're at now though is, we're either gonna have to go to the chamber and say, you're gonna be required to shut down AD, or you are not gonna have a car show on AD, I think is what we're saying.
Well, I think basically what we've got is a three-way opinion here. You know, the village has an opinion, the downtown development has an opinion, the chamber has an opinion. I think trying to get everybody to agree that, you know.
But it's like Doug said, we're the ones that are gonna have to make that decision.
I think they just.
Take the risk and the liability or not. To me, it's that simple, either we take it or we don't, and if we don't, I guess at that point, the chamber could say, well, then we're not having a car show. I mean, we got, that's just the nuts and bolts of it, in my opinion.
I think if they explain
I
that
think
to
if
the
we
chamber,
explain it to them, that we're all working real hard toward the same goal.
responsibilities, I think they'll understand it.
Safety fund and a car show.
Safety has to be number one.
We don't want a car show, we want it to be safe, and
Or let's play devil's advocate, switch to the other side. What is the advantage of having traffic going through there? I don't see any advantage.
They may think that they're accommodating the village. The chamber may think that the village would prefer to keep traffic.
The other thing is relocating the car show to the school or.
See, I don't think that's a good idea. That's not gonna benefit.
It takes,
That doesn't
I think a lot of the time for that car show
Makes
was
it
having it
business
right
like
now.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we're lucky to have
Club
it.
or Pelican, and they're selling food, they've got stuff out in the yard, they got, you know, the vendors,
T-shirts.
Pelican lawn. Yeah.
I think we're lucky to have a downtown we can close and detour so easy to have a car
Yeah.
show right truly in our downtown. That doesn't happen in a lot of towns.
Can we do as kind of Corey suggested, let's just apply for the permit and then start working?
You don't have to use it if you
I
want.
mean, yeah, if we have the permit on hand, then we could work off. it.
I just think the one who should apply for permit is the chamber because it's their car show. I think it all should go back to the chamber. I mean, I think we should just tell them what the council has decided. It's truly they're sponsoring the car show. So, I just told them I'd bring it up and I would get back with them, so I'm gonna get them.
Well, do we need a motion? I want it closed myself.
Okay, Leila has made the motion that M88 will be closed down to traffic for the car show.
Just support that.
Second by Thayer.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Can we do a roll call again, Rachel?
Hatterly,
Yes.
Bodley,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Susie.
Yes. Thank you. I will talk to Susie. Anybody know?
Ken, if you could just offer, I mean, if they need help doing it, Sam and I both know how to.
Oh, the permit?
Yes.
Yeah, if they just say, I'm sure Sam would do it, if they just say this is what we want done. You know, okay. I will let
And
them
Scott, could
Sam's got it before.
Susie contact you and you could
Sure.
kind of explain the same situation that you described to us very eloquently and pretty much swayed everybody up here?
Well, I don't
That
think
it's
it's.
not an emotional response, that it's
Sure, it's not. the
safety
intent to-
liability response, so that way she understands the way we voted.
Would we like Scott to contact Susie?
Yes, I would,
We are
I'd
willing to.
I'd really
Susie,
appreciate
our
that.
decision and- Okay, thank you, Scott. Any other new business? I'm not aware of. We will move on to action items. Action item A is to appoint a new DDA member. At the DDA meeting, Chris Corbett was more than willing to be appointed to the DDA. The DDA recommended him to the council. So I would accept a motion to appoint Chris Corbett to the DDA board.
I'll make that motion. Support.
Motion by Satterby, second by Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
There's your member, Cory.
I think he'll be a great asset.
I think he will be great. He was really enthused about it, so that's really good news. Item number B is to appoint a planning commission member. At last night's planning commission meeting, Maggie Mall was more than happy to join the planning commission. Rob already knew what we told him last night.
But I will abstain from the vote because it is my wife,
Okay,
so
so they,
that's the right thing.
they all unanimously recommend Maggie to the council to approve to the planning commission. So I would accept a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
second that.
motion by Bobby to appoint Maggie Mall to the planning commission, second by Thayer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you spell her last name, please?
MAUL.
Thank you. Old business. As Joe said, it's been worked on before. Finance and personnel just believe it's a good idea if we update the employee and trustee manuals at this time. So if Joe wants to ask for volunteers to help on that?
Yeah, what we've done over the course of the last update, we've made some policy changes. There's some things in there, they're not represented on the Facebook yet, or on our website, or in our hardcover book. So just getting them updated, getting them worded correctly, and their writings in them. And then we'd bring them back to the board. They'd lay for 30 days before we adopt them. I'd be willing to volunteer to work on them if I could get a couple other people that wanted to work with me to get them updated to present back to the council with.
I can help.
Okay.
No, can we see, are we allowed to see those before they go out?
Well, they're on the website right now too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah.
No, just for some input, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would be shocked if you didn't go to him for input.
No, that's, have you got a copy of the employee manuals now or something?
If they're on the website.
Yeah, they're on our website, yeah.
Would he like to help you?
Scott, did you wanna
Oh, I didn't.
get involved now? Okay, there's three of us. Is that fine? Everybody's good with that? And hopefully, a month or two, we'll have them.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll talk to Sam about it too. I mean, the
Oh,
more input, the
absolutely,
better.
yes,
We're
yes.
not trying to change it, we're just trying to make sure we know what it is and it's
No, I think it just makes sense. I mean,
updated, consistent.
Well, the most of it is just getting the wording and the numbering sequences correct, such as the no smoking policy and the employee manual, the payment for meetings and stuff that we've adopted, and just different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, good, yeah.
So, you want us, just to clarify, you want us to review them and
Yeah, go ahead and get it, review them, and I'll get with, you guys will set a date maybe, and one evening we'll sit down, go through them, make up quick changes, and hopefully Rachel can get them into a.
I knew you were gonna nominate.
Get her involved.
Well, she's got to put it out for us, so,
See that one?
yeah.
It just comes down to this change.
So, it's done.
Here's this mess, will you clean it up?
Legible orders.
I don't know if we have any in our office or not. I don't have any currently with me, but I know they're on the website, we can print one.
I think there's some in the office.
you see, you guys can't wait for it.
Okay.
Yeah, the best thing is just to print some out of the newest ones. I know we've gotten rid of a lot of old ones over the years because at one point there were copies that we didn't know what floating around.
I think there's 3 or 4 copies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we finally pinned it down about 2 years ago, I think, to one single copy, but now they just need the updates that we've done.
Employee manual and trustee
Email,
manual.
yes, and then there's the village code, so there's 3 different ones, and
But-
then zoning, and that's a whole nother.
But we're dealing just with the.
Employee and trustee manual, so we don't know what we're gonna deal with.
Okay, so we can copy those off and.
Well, there was one that got shown up, probably was a redacted version.
Yes, that was, and that's what we have to get to correct.
That's the one that's on your,
That's the one that I have a copy of.
okay. That's why we're gonna clean them all up? There are more lines
More
for
of
them.
them.
Okay.
There's still a lot of them floating around, yeah,
I've
that was
got
what I
one.
wrote. Yeah, we'll get with
Okay,
that,
very good.
Scott, we'll
Figure out
do what
which
you
one
will.
is the newest.
I'll
Is
get
that
with
something
Sam
you think
and
you'll bring back next month?
we'll
Don't
try,
push it.
we'll try, see what we can get done. Well, I would like to, yes.
Okay.
I would like to see
What
them
was the shot? That was
dated
not-
too, when they're made up.
Yeah, they should be dated.
Yeah.
Dated, definitely.
Dated, definitely dated.
Oh, yes.
We've got
signed,
some that were not dated, and I couldn't tell
Yep.
which one was
Yeah, I don't think
which.
we have too many anymore.
If you got one that's not dated, throw it out.
Yep. But okay, we will move on.
And I'll try to get Sam and all the guys involved to get their input from this with us here and get some notes from them. Brendan, we can sit down, just write it and.
Everybody should have budgets in front of them. First, I want to thank Rachel and Joel and Scott and Sam and everybody. There's a lot of work put into it once again to get it together.
And Ken worked a lot today, finalizing.
There's probably a few things Joel wanted to highlight on it, I believe.
You kind of probably forgot it already. We created a line item in the 101 that depicts the payment for the LED lights in the streetscape versus being just wrapped into utilities. Trying to look at what it actually is here in the number. Right here, it's a 101,448,8180. You'll see that's a $6,000 a year for our payment. There was some changes to,
Did they all find that one?
Give me that number again, Joe.
it's 101,448,8180.
Well, on page 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we broke out the
The LED payments for the streetscape lights.
streetlight utilities now reflects just the Cobra headlights.
Yes.
It's called Cobra lights, and the one light that lights up the sign coming into town, which is like $20 a month. So that pretty much is just our Cobra headlights. The 6,000 below it is our payment on the LEDs.
Oh, I see.
We made a couple of slight changes to the appropriation transfer ends.
So,
And-
let's come back to this for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Because what's missing here, which isn't much, but it's missing, is the true amount, the LED cost.
Explain that a little to me, what you're.
The bill for the LED lights.
That is the $6,000.
No, that's the payment we make to Graybar Financial.
Right.
That doesn't pay the utility bill.
Oh, I see what you're saying, the utilities for the LEDs.
So this is gonna probably go up by $600.
Yes, yes.
I just thought of that, Rachel. We
You're-
went over this 100 times, I just thought.
Yep.
This 18.
Yep, so
18
it'd be
is
go
probably gonna go-
18.6.
We can either do that, or we can create a line for LED, if we'd rather see a line for what the LED lights truly cost. We can create another line item for just the utilities for the LEDs, because Rachel loves more line items.
Wow, I think that was the worst look than as we do the books.
Smile. So, but whatever people would
Okay.
rather see, I mean, it can be broken out at a later time too by the utility bill, but I'm just saying, at some point, we're gonna have to add about $600 into that.
Okay. And that's a good point, Ken. That was-
Yeah, I just caught my attention right there looking at it.
Okay, so that'll go up by 600 in the 101.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody-
And create a line item for that.
For that, or lump it in
Okay.
there, whatever you decide to do internally is okay with me.
Yeah, I think a line item for it is great to see the actual, I know it's more work for Rachel to get in there and number it, but
But she loves to do it.
as Ken says, she loves to do it. Okay. Good with that then? So we go to the transfers or?
I'm okay with that, everyone else is?
Okay. In the appropriation transfer in 101, 52,000, there was a.
Page.
Front page. There was a mistake made in the accounting that I did, in the transfer out, so that were just adjusted to truly show, a transfer out of 34,000 of the 101 to the campground. And I wanna say it's 14,000 into the campground and 20,000 to the DDA.
So if we
That's
stop
Out of
there.
that 34,000 of the transfer
14
out.
campground.
Yep.
Yep, and the reason the 14 is going into the campground is for, it's all kind of rolls in the same, with our grant project, right? there's a $28,000 capital improvement shown in the campground. Oh, for the bathhouse, which is campground.
We needed $14,000 over our revenue.
So we had to appropriate, which we knew we had to do that,
Right.
to cover the grant cost. And as we're talking grant, the other part of the grant cost you'll see in the 101 was a $28,000 capital improvement in the 101. Which
Should be on the last
page,
page there, yep.
almost the very last page, in
Second,
the 101.
yep. I want to say it's the fourth again. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
fourth,
right there. Yep.
fourth.
Yep. So that 28 and the 28 in the campground combined for 56 of our match, and the rest of our match was the DPW.
Oh,
It's actually $56,000 in cash. So if that makes sense, that explains that, and that's kind of where the whole 52
Of the
came into the appropriation
appropriation.
transfer. We used up fund balances we had, and then added to it because we funded the DDA with, appropriated $20,000 for the DDA to bring us a budget.
With that also, speaking of the 20,000 of the DDA, many of you, if you notice that there is no longer a common area caretaker in our major streets or local streets, we figured with the DDA getting $20,000, the common area flower beds, that would be a good thing if they could absorb the cost of maintaining that flower beds being there in the DDA area. I believe all but 2 of them are. So that would be a cost that they would have to figure into their budget. Last year it was $3,000 we budgeted for it. You guys get volunteers, you get it cheap or whatever, that's however you guys work it, but that, in my opinion, I think that would be a cost that would be passed on to the DDA and theirs now. So as long as they know going in that that's something that will happen.
I think it's in their control now, it's the DDA.
So if the flower beds look bad, go to the DDA.
So you're aware of that then, now?
Yes.
And we contacted the other individual that maintained them?
Not yet, they may wanna use her, I'll get with Corey and Tom and let them know the lady that we used before, and if they wanna work something out with her or whatever, that's, so we can.
What about the flowers like north of town at the sign?
They were taken care of by the garden club.
Oh, okay.
They're not even part of that. The only one that, I wanna say the one next to Masonic Lodge doesn't fall in the DDA's district yet, and the one right next to Mortensen. I don't believe them two fall in, and the one down at the park across from the corner store by the boardwalk wouldn't. But I would hope that the DDA would still put that into their scope anyways.
And if you notice, we created 2 new funds.
Looks like you got a job this summer.
The DDA has a
Yeah,
separate
that's
fund.
what I said.
There's an entire separate fund created for the DDA.
Yep.
And there's an entire separate fund created for the campground, so we can truly track campground revenue expenditures without following along the 101. We were allowed to do that. We were required to do the one for the DDA and allowed to do the one for the campground.
Yep. Now also with the DDA guys, knowing that while we have appropriated the money and it is in our budget, we're saying it's there, they still have to give us a detailed budget to spend monies and go forward. We have to approve their budget yet when they present it to us, so. This, I guess, we're just earmarking 20,000 for them right now, is what we'd be doing. And then the campground, as Ken said, we took it to a standalone fund, so it's easier to track.
No, you're getting a look. No. And it is.
I forgot to put the salaries in that, because we're gonna propose for this year. In the back one. It's empty.
Oh,
Campground.
yeah, but we can go back to this right here and get that.
The
Again.
ones are all grouped together in that one.
Well, then I can.
Oh, you just, okay, that's what.
It's just missing. We didn't forget it.
Yeah.
Sorry for not.
She forgot to put that one in, which actually, if last year it was
I
10.5.
guess it's 10.7 because
It's
I think
gonna
it
be
was
10.7.
270 left over.
Yeah,
Revenue expenditure was 270, so
Yeah,
if you look at that, campground salaries were blank on the far right.
yeah, that's gonna be
Total
10,700.
budget should be 10,700. Revenue over expenditures should be $270.
Yep.
campground.
For sheds, right?
10,007, you said?
10,7 is campground salaries. No budget on it is campground, further back. Water.
It's gonna be almost, it's
There's
5
four-
pages.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just after local streets.
It's for water.
It's right before sewer.
Yeah, it's further back to this way. Right here. This becomes
Right after
10,7, the proposed salary. And then on the bottom line, revenue over expenditure becomes, this becomes only $270. Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll make Lyle a lot happier. won't
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna get paid this year. Again, guys, and everybody knowing in this, if we pass this budget, it does reflect the 1.5% increase to all the employees, or what we call full-time employees, so.
So, I guess we could talk about that right now. Is everybody in agreement with the 1.5% increase for the employees?
We got two.
Pardon me? Good thing you don't work for the village.
Township got 10%.
No. So,
Township's overpaid.
but anyway, is everybody good with
They get anything
setting the
here
budget
for
on
us.
the solid motion for, but it is gonna show 1.5% pay increase, which we'll approve at our final budget hearing next month. The other one is, I don't know if you noticed it through there, but this year we're paying unemployment because the village only pays unemployment after the fact. If somebody draws, we pay it back, so we're paying back about $5,800 worth of unemployment. So we just spread it out amongst the funds proportionally. So that's kind of hard to budget for because you see it after the fact. I guess we're reimbursing employers, not contributing.
And the reason that we didn't hold our truth and taxation public hearing before this meeting as we planned is, we got a little behind in the creation of some things in numberings, and we'd like to have this out on our website a month before we pass it, give the people a chance to look at it. Before the February meeting, we'll hold our public hearing and go forward then.
We will probably do that right at 7, just preceding the meeting. That's the way we normally do it. Right, over the past years, it's just at 7, so we'll get the notice out. We have that in the office, right, somewhere where the notice has to be, I'm sure Lynn knows that, it has to be just right in the paper, the right font.
What?
And for the truth and taxation or whatever, the budget hearing.
I've got that, you're gonna post it to the website for the public to take a look at,
Yep, the budgets, yep.
and that you'll hold a public hearing, just prior to your February
At
meeting,
the same time, at 7 o'clock.
okay?
Yep, and then like I said, we'll get that notice in the paper, and I know it has to be spelled out.
And if all goes well, it will be approved during that meeting.
It will be approved at that meeting, yes.
That good?
That's very good. If they don't, somebody here change their mind. Anything else I think that was pretty, I think the budget came together real nice.
I want to thank Ken for correcting a couple of small issues that he found today and getting it worked out. I think they're before the end, so.
Yep, like Rachel, I think we're getting our lines cleared up a lot better every, Rachel, really makes sense. So every year forward a little better.
So what you're gonna fix the issues you've discovered today and tonight, and then post it to the website?
Yep.
Yes.
What we actually worked on tonight was the line item worksheet. When we proposed the budget, it's in a really condensed version, so we worked off of a fund balance instead of a line item.
Okay.
That's all I had on the budget line.
Any other discussions on the budget?
Just an update.
Okay.
One other thing in the old business, we wrote a for sale of the water truck, for the newspaper. I don't know if Rachel has sent that in yet. But basically, we're to take sealed bids in the office, and up until the day before the meeting, I think it was, or the day of our February meeting, with the bids to be opened during the council meeting to accept or deny any bids.
Yep.
Just as an update for everybody.
We retain the right to refuse or accept all offers. And then at that point, before we open, we'll probably discuss, as we open, if we want to give some weight to a local person bidding. compared to somebody down, you know what I'm saying? I would rather sell to somebody local if the difference in the bid was $50. I hate to say we're selling to the lowest bidder, period. But we can discuss that before we open, if we wanna. So we will get that in the paper and just accept bids on it.
Yeah, just because it's open.
And we can set it, that next month, meeting, we can say we're gonna set a minimum price if we decide amongst us, if all the bids are under whatever we decide, we'll reject all of them. But we can do that, so just think about that between now and next month. How we'd like to address it when we do open them.
Yeah, just before we open them, we'll have everything spelled out then, I don't want to do it this week.
Number or something to go off of, in terms of a minimum?
I got online, I looked around, and there's such a variation on trucks. I can find you that same truck for $1,500, I can find you that same truck for $12,000.
All right.
There's such a variable on it, it all depends on the condition. Really, it's what's it worth to who's buying it?
Yeah, that's
That's what it comes down to me.
But I'm just saying, you said you had a bottom line, and I just wanted to know.
Well, do we have?
We
a
don't,
bottom?
our bid, we didn't put minimum bid.
Okay.
So by next month's meeting, we all know the truck, look at the truck, and if you say, my gosh, that truck shouldn't go for under $3,500, just say so, we'll discuss it. Or whatever we wanna do, somewhere we need I think we do, a minimum price we're willing to let it go for.
In that case, I would recommend that you put in a, village council reserves the right to refuse.
We did, that's on our, yeah.
Thank you.
That would be a good one to tell you about, like, we should try.
Yeah.
We worked with them, and created the article or for sale, whatever you wanna call it.
All bids, whatever we said, and then we can just, okay.
Yeah, I just wanna bring that back.
Yep, no, I'm glad you completely forgot, so we will have that. Is there any other discussion? Any further public comment? Linda?
I just have a question for Scott. Back to the liquor inspections. Is the Liquor Control Commission still doing inspections? Or it kind of sounds like they've decided that the municipal police can do them.
Yes and no. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, come on.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
No comment from the police department.
Sounds like that's a state of Michigan cut to me.
If there's no further public comment, I take the motion to adjourn. Motion by Chapman,
Second?
second by Bagby, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.